And welcome into the Monday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, welcome back to town. What's going on? How we doing?
Thanks. Still tired from the Detroit Tigers, whatever inning loss that was on Friday.
My condolences, innings? Buddy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Tough way to go. I hope Seattle wins it all. Seattle won yesterday. Big dumper. Did he hit 2 homers yesterday?
I know for sure he only hit 1.
I did not pay attention to the sport of baseball at all yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
he tied it.
I'm not going to be watching a lot of it either, but I do hope Seattle wins it all. I think they've the only team left that's never been in the World Series, right? So there you go. But yeah, glad to be back. I'll say that.
Glad to have you back. Ian Safar, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Happy end of fall break to everybody. Back to reality. Here we go. And happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes.
To all of our brethren up north.
Yes, Canadian Thanksgiving. Predators are celebrating by playing hockey at noon today against the Ottawa Senators. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada. Here's the Nashville Predators, who, by the way, got 3 out of 4 points so far. So good for them.
Yeah. Good start. Solid start. Almost started up 2-0.
Almost. So good stuff on that front. A team that may not reach 2 wins the whole year. The Tennessee Titans were in action again yesterday. And, Joe, we wondered, fourth quarter against Arizona, 190 some odd yards of offense, Cam Ward dropping some dimes out there. The Titans were gift wrapped the game, and they decided, you know what? We might as well just go out there and take it. If they're going to hand it to us in Arizona, might as well just go out there and take it. And maybe, as we talked about last week with you, as Kuharski brought up a few times last week, maybe that was a turning point for the season, not from some long lost dream of them making a playoff run or anything, but looking a little better, playing a little better football, looking better on the offensive side of things, and not taking so long to get going and just not looking as inept as they've looked. And we wondered, would that be the case in Las Vegas? And the answer is absolutely no. Nope, it did not happen that way. They lose 20-10 yesterday in a game that really wasn't even that close. Late touchdown by the Titans toward the end of the game, but just brutal from the Titans yesterday. Calvin Ridley goes down with injury. Obviously, that didn't help. And Cam Ward, who we were wondering if he could build on his progress in the fourth quarter against Arizona, not good yesterday for the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to get into Ward specifically for a lot of this show. But overall, Joe, just your thoughts on what you saw from the Titans, who are now 1-5 after the 20-10 loss to the Raiders yesterday.
Yeah, they're very bad. Basically, it won't be long, and we're going to be sitting there like, okay, so Titans, Jets, the race for the number 1 pick. I think and I don't want to disrespect the Browns or the Saints, but I still think those teams, like the Browns, have a legit D. The Saints, the Saints hung in there against. Well, he who shall not be named. How many times are we going to talk Mike Vrabel this week, or do we make him Voldemort? I don't know, but
we're going to talk about him.
Yeah. They did give them a little bit of a game. It's the Titans and it's the Jets. They're the worst 2 teams in football, and they're just a very, very bad team, and nothing is going to change that. They got one lucky break, like one lucky series of breaks, an absolute. And we knew that last week, but yes, it's like, okay, can this be a spark? Can this be something? Can this build some kind of positive momentum? And they're not good enough to have positive momentum. They just can't. They lose way too many matchups all over the field. The Raiders are a very bad team too, by the way. They're 2-4. Like they're gonna win like 5 games.
Yeah, keep that in mind in the backdrop of this entire discussion. Raiders are not very good.
No, they're not. And they were missing their primary weapon. The Titans did fine against Jenny. It's not like he went nuts on them. He had a productive day, but like you take Brock Bowers, you're out there with Trey Turner and
Jacoby Meyer, Michael Mayer.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just a garbage time touchdown away from being a total blowout. That's just what it is. It's You know what it is? It's the Preds have started and college football's good, and also the Titans are playing right
Yeah,
now.
that's what it is. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I will say I felt good for David Martin Robinson getting the touchdown.
Sure.
Right? Like nice story there from David Martin Robinson finding his way into the end zone. Van Jefferson, 4 catches for 75 yards, stepping up a little bit.
Jonathan Vilma's like, that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Throw to him every play.
Yeah, between Van Jefferson and Jonathan Vilma's love for Femi Oladejo, I was just like, well, this is a guy who's got the finger on the pulse of the Tennessee Titans right now.
At least we noticed Femi. I mean, he did.
It's true.
He did bust through some blocks and make some plays. So
that was good to see.
Yeah.
Good to see on that front.
See, we can find some positives.
But, I mean, here's another thing for you. Tony Pollard ends up with 10 carries for 34 yards. That's a nice whopping 3.4 yards carry for Tony Pollard yesterday. And I actually thought, there were a couple snaps where Spears had some burst to him, both in the rushing game and in the passing game. And he ran for 31 yards on 5 carries. It's 6-2 a pop. So you'll take that. So, I mean, but that's about, you're spread thin when you're looking for positive takeaways from the Tennessee Titans yesterday. Defensively, it was kind of a similar story of, it wasn't a horrible day for them defensively. It's not like they just sat there and just got torched by Geno Smith or anything. But, I mean, there's only so much wiggle room you've got as a defense with this offense. And when you allow them to a couple drives to get away from you, as the Titans did, you just don't have a chance with the way this offense plays right now.
Yeah. You've got Jeffrey Simmons, who, again, continues to play great. I mean, Draymond Jones. I mean, I will say the Raiders' offensive line. I mean, I hate to not give credit to the Titans whenever they do anything good, but I immediately have to think, wow, how bad is the other team in that area? Raiders' offensive line must be really bad, because I thought the Titans actually got consistent pressure like I haven't seen.
Titans had 7 quarterback hits yesterday. They may not have had 7 quarterback hits total at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like whatever the number is, it's Jeff, usually, but like Draymond Jones, and they did get after Geno. He gave them a freebie, like just a pick that you're just like, so he has 10 picks, is that right?
10 picks.
I like that throw. I was like, what are you possibly looking at? But even with all that, like you said, it's just, and you're the Titans defense. And you just know, unless you can be darn near perfect with that offense, it doesn't matter.
What did you think of the fumble that was then not a fumble that took a touchdown off the board for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the right call. And again, I think that was the right call when they made the wrong call in the playoffs when Joshua Dobbs did the exact same play.
I agree.
So, yes, I think that he still had control and went forward barely, very close. But I think that was correct. It's just that when those plays happen, as Titans fans will immediately tell you, it will go against them, whatever it is. It will go against. I mean, I can't argue it anymore. Like, it happens every time.
It's crazy how much happens. And look, if that play stands and that's a touchdown, does the outcome change yesterday? Probably not, because the Titans offense is so anemic and just incapable of getting things done that they probably still don't score enough points to win the game. But still, I mean, it's a big play in the game, right? Like, you'd love to have the defensive touchdown there. So, like, if you're a Titans fan frustrated by it, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong today. Like, that's fine. Like, I've seen that called a fumble before in the NFL. So it's just one of those things that goes against you. But I'm with you. Like, by the letter of the law, I did think it was the right call. But you never know with these guys anymore.
Yeah. No, it's right. It shouldn't be as subjective as it is. But yeah, I had they gotten that, you never know. I mean, the Raiders are probably pretty fragile too. We're talking about a matchup of 1 and 4 teams. So I guess, it could have gone differently, but it doesn't change just the offensive ineptitude. It's just hard. It's unfair to people to have to watch this. But good for all of you who are continuing to do so.
It's hard to watch.
Who was worse? Who was harder to watch on offense, the Jets or the Titans this week?
Luckily, I barely watched any of that Jets game with their -10 passing yards.
It's pretty close right there.
That's insane. -10 passing yards. I mean, Justin Fields, there's a good example of already we kind of, it's not, he just doesn't quite have it. Then you send him to that franchise.
Yeah.
Woo. But at least, like, they have Garrett Wilson. Like, they have some skill guys who are fun, you know? And the Titans, I mean, their most exciting guy now is got a hammy, and who knows where that will lead. Not great with the trading deadline coming up, you know? Titans needed him to get going. But that's a good question, though, Ian. It's the worst two teams fighting for the number one pick.
Both
and
were very
also
painful to watch.
Just like who is harder to watch?
I mean, the Jets did score 11 points.
They did.
I think that was
They outscored
one
the
was a
Titans by
safety.
but as a safety, and
Yeah.
so they did get to 11. Titans only got to 10 yesterday.
Turn it to 11. Crank it.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go.
So the Titans fall to 1-5. They lose 20-10 to a pretty bad Las Vegas Raiders team yesterday. We'll take your thoughts on that, and we will get into Cam Ward and the offense. Except for about one quarter right now, Cam Ward looks bad. So what do we make of it? We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe Rexrode once again in charge of the text line this morning, so keep those going. 615.
Oh, you're out again?
I'm out. I don't know what keeps happening to me.
It's weird because I've had to log in recently a few times, and it just doesn't even ask for a password. Why is it giving me free access and you are being iced out?
I think the world enjoys when you're in charge.
Oh,
so that's what we're going to do.
Well, okay, let's see. Callahan has to go, no! All caps. Will it do anything? No, but it's unacceptable to let somebody so incompetent continue to be the head coach. So there's a little bit of and I've got dude, I really actually need you to be in the text line because someone sent this hangover. It's the hangover poster, and I think it's like Titans people in it, but like it looks like JC Latham. I need you to help me out with this. I'll show it to you.
Well, later this week when I'm back in, we'll get it done.
Will you get back in?
I don't know.
Call Chase. What is it? 4-7. Oh, Chase is at a roulette table right now, right?
Probably. Look at your phone real quick and let's get this code.
Roulette table at the airport in Vegas on his way home. You just he'll get you in.
Titans lose 20-10 to the Raiders yesterday to drop to 1-5. Joe, Cam Ward, 26 of 38 for 222, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, lost a couple of fumbles in the game as well. And frankly, like the 26 of 38 from a completion percentage standpoint is a step in the right direction. That's about it, though. I mean, it's bad from Cam Ward yesterday. It was bad from the whole offense. And again, you're looking at a situation where a Raiders team that hasn't been able to get much going on any part of their game sacked you 6 times and hit the quarterback 8 times yesterday. So 6 sacks allowed by the Titans. I mean, we can get into the minutia of whose fault it was. I got some things to say about JC Latham a little bit later in the show that we'll get into and all that stuff. There are definitely some plays where he's holding on to the ball way too long. And all in all, like without just going through and describing each snap of yesterday's game, the bottom line is, save for a few throws here and there that he's made that have been very impressive, right? Like you think back to the Rams game and the first touchdown pass he had, great play. He's shown some ability to get outside the pocket and to make some pretty impressive plays with his eyes downfield. And he and Isle Manor have connected a few times this year. And certainly last week against Arizona in the fourth quarter, like a lot of things came together and he played well in that. But frankly, right now, like the sample size of Cam Ward playing good football for this team through 6 games is very limited. Like it's a very limited sample size of him playing good football right now. And frankly, he looks bad. Now, let me be clear before we start this conversation. I'm not giving up on Cam Ward 6 games into his NFL career with a coach who I don't think is competent and a roster around him that's not good. So let me start there. I'm not giving up on Cam Ward. I'm not calling for anybody to give up on Cam Ward. And I have not lost hope that he can one day be a good NFL quarterback. We don't need to revisit the draft part of this. We know that you and I would not have taken Cam Ward in the draft, but he's here now, so it doesn't really matter. But I will say, like, it's concerning to me that he has looked as off as he's looked so far, and you can blame whoever you want to blame for it if you're a Titans fan. But I thought we'd see signs of more good football than what we've seen right now, which, by the way, I think also includes a Titans offense that has scored the fewest amount of points through 6 games as a franchise than they have since 1985. That's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I saw that TD tweet yesterday. I think we had ESPN Stats and Info. Whatever that number is, was it like 80 points?
83, I think.
Points in 6 games.
This is a low T alert.
And for those who don't remember, who aren't as old as me, like 1985, like the Houston Oilers were absolutely the worst of the worst. They were post Earl Campbell, pre-Warren Moon, et cetera. Or maybe Warren Moon was just coming in, whatever.
I wasn't alive.
Bad. Yeah. Let me tell you something. One thing you knew back then, the Houston Oilers were cheeks. And the Tennessee Titans are now in a stretch of really, they're going to be pushing just the absolute worst this franchise has seen. Yeah, Cam Ward, it's not very good. And that is an important disclaimer because, like, again, I'm sitting here watching who's the MVP in the NFL right now. Baker? Is
Probably
he the MVP?
Baker. Yeah.
Okay. So, and now look, I always thought Baker was at least pretty good at Cleveland, but whatever. Point is, I'm watching Darnold out there throw beautiful bombs to Smith and Jigba, et cetera, like these quarterback careers get salvaged now. That's like it's almost like the best strategy. Okay, which reclamation project is going to hit?
Right.
Go there, do that. And by the way, shout out to Stanley. And by the way, I agreed with him. I just want to say
On the Darnold front.
Yeah.
It looks good.
I mean, imagine if now look, would Darnold be behind that same offensive line? He sure would. So maybe we'd be like, oh, okay, Sam Darnold, it was just a Kevin O'Connell sugar rush. But regardless, you do have to take some of this and isolate it to the quarterback and say, yeah, it seems to me that one, he misses some stuff, like he sails some throws, that aren't good. He just seems to be not getting through things quickly enough. There's some bad protection in there that is not his fault at all. I don't think he rammed himself into sacks yesterday. I mean, I think it was more protection than anything, but also there were enough plays where he did have time. It just looks like, and again, is it happy feet? Is it seeing ghosts because of protection? I don't know, but he's just not operating things at a very high level. And so it just doesn't look right now like he's progressing. Again, we're talking 1 week after a tremendous, trio of throws and a comeback win. So that did just happen. But you definitely, just like we thought with the Titans, are they going to build on this? Are they going to be in momentum? With him, even more importantly, was there going to be any momentum? And it just went back the other way.
Well, I said Friday, the situation was like you just come off a win and you thought, from a psychological standpoint, to get a win, regardless of how it came, because everybody knows the situation that happened in Arizona may not happen again in your life for how the Titans won that football game. So we understand that, but they got the win. So you felt maybe psychologically that frees you up a little bit. It opens things up. For a week, not everybody was talking about firing your coach and all these different things. So how would you respond to that? And then they come back out and they look bad. And I said Friday, if we weren't talking on Monday about the best performance of Cam Ward's short career to this point, that I would be very disappointed, because frankly, the bar is not that high. The bar's not that high for us to have been sitting here today talking about Cam Ward's best performance of his career. And instead we're talking about, a bad one. I don't know. I'm not going to get in here and get into the minutia of was it his worst one yet? Maybe it was on the list. First 3 quarters at Arizona were pretty bad, but he just looks bad right now. And again, is it all him? No. I don't think he's got good coaching around him. I know he doesn't have a good roster around him, and that's with Ridley. And then Ridley goes out of the game with a hamstring injury yesterday. And you're looking around at the receiving corps and you're like, well, they got Tyler Lockett out there, and that's not going well so far. So I get it. There's an avalanche of circumstances around him right now that are poor. But independent of all that, he also looks bad. And that to me is where my concern lies at the moment.
Yeah. And Austin on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunt.com, says it's all about coaching. This coaching staff isn't elevating anyone, and they're screwing up the QB. I don't know about screwing up the QB, but I think that, again, the fundamentals and all that stuff. I mean, I think everybody does the same stuff, but the plays, the scheming, knowing what your quarterback is good at, leaning into those strengths and finding answers, to put him in position. I know it's hard with this terrible roster. It's hard for everybody, but first of all, I'm not trying to take culpability away, because these guys picked some of these players who are out there looking like they should barely be on a field in an NFL game. But, you look around at some of these. Charles texted us yesterday about Jackson Dart. I think Brian Daboll, he may yet be fired. He may not be a great head coach, but I think we do know that he's good at quarterback stuff, putting quarterbacks in position to succeed. He did get a good, year from Daniel Jones, who, by the way, continues to win for the Colts. And I do think that at this point, look, it's just a matter of when now.
Yes.
So it's what it is. I mean, if anybody watched the Callahan presser yesterday, that guy's completely defeated at this point. He knows what's up.
Yep.
Just a matter of when. But I agree that like a big chunk of this is just a coaching staff that hasn't been able to figure out what works best for him and put him in the best position. And a lot of talk yesterday. TD started, his first question was about the screen game, and which is
I was going to say
atrocious.
Yeah. Can we eliminate that from the playbook?
Yeah, or design one that does something. You could do. I mean, I think screens are an important part of a playbook.
Well, they clearly can't design one, so just stop calling them.
Yeah. I guess that's fine too.
How
about stop playing?
Just
stop playing football.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
How many tight fans right now? Let's fast forward to the draft. Let's get there.
Let's stop televising the Titans. I mean, let's stop something.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Cam Ward not looking good through the first 6 games here. We'll take your thoughts on that. What's your concern level? What's your concern level if the coaching staff hangs around and they're continuing to be the ones that work with Cam Ward? We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
If they're giving up stuff on film, that you see, but I mean, shouldn't you quickly realize they're not giving up to you and say, well, what we saw isn't working in this game. We need to go somewhere else other than Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a part of it. You know, those are conversations I'll have with the offensive staff when we get back.
Well, if you're seeing something on film that ain't working there, got to change it. Right, Coach?
Good point, Paul. We'll talk about it. Thank you.
I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, if you didn't watch it, I don't want to say I encourage you to go back and watch it because then you have to relive like the game of football that you just watched.
It's more entertaining than the football the Titans are playing.
But I will say, like, Brian Callahan looked like a guy yesterday. It looked like somebody like, stole his dog or something. Like he knows the score. And I think probably deep down, Joe, there was a little bit of hope that, that Arizona game may spark something and you could start to stack some wins. And, Callahan's not an idiot. He looked at the schedule and he realizes there's probably not a whole lot of more opportunities for wins out there based on the quality of teams that they're going to be playing. And yesterday should have been one of them. And then did not work. So a defeated head coach in the press conference yesterday.
Yeah, a defeated head coach. No interest in, which is smart, no interest in getting into any more little snippy moments with Kaharski. So
yeah, good point.
Kaharski's got to do, he's got to come up with better trolling questions, Do we
any more slogans?
What's that?
Any more slogans?
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, you have to scour the walls and find something else.
That's good. Can I get a tour of the building, please? How many slogans we got around here? Go to Brinker's office.
Yeah, maybe there's like a motivational, like little one of those pictures in Brinker's office he can bring up to Callahan. I mean, everybody's tired of this stuff. It's just bad.
Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Janie to the program. Janie, good morning. Thank you for calling in. Hello, Janie. Are you there?
Janie.
I think we may have lost Janie.
Call back, Janie.
Janie, call us back. We'll try to get reconnected with you.
Help us figure out what we can do with this team. Somebody
figure it all out.
Somebody help us.
10 points for the Titans yesterday. Chigakonkwo, 6 catches for 46 yards. Elikayo Manor, 3 catches for 27 yards. But again, a game yesterday, Joe, where you're watching it play out in front of your face, and you're thinking to yourself, this offense is not threatening at all. It's like there's never a point where you look at the Titans offense in a game, save for the fourth quarter when you just watched a player drop the football over the goal line and a fumble recovery in your own end zone after an interception end up being a touchdown, where you think, well, maybe today is the day that the football gods are on the side of the Titans here. Other than that, there's never really a point that you look at the offense and you're like, yeah, I bet this defense is really concerned about what they're doing out there. And then again yesterday, there were long periods of the game where you just knew that, well, this is about to be a really quick possession here. Nice 3 and out upcoming for the Titans, and you could tell it by the first play.
Yeah, some of the people on YouTube checked them out like the first series, and Karski asked about this too.
The run punt.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I don't disagree with like Callahan's answer, which is, well, if you run yourself into 3rd and 1, then okay, I'm fine running the next play. Just get it.
Just get it.
Yeah, just
pick it up.
I mean,
get a yard.
You do need to react to information when you're calling plays. Not that Brian Callahan is calling plays. It's gone really well with Bo Hardegree, by the way. But hey, they do have a win with Bo Hardegree calling plays. So
they do.
You got to give them that. And boy, those will be few and far between.
They do. I think we have Janie back on the line. Let's welcome Janie into the program. Janie, good morning. Thank you for calling in. All right, our phones are. I think we may be.
It could be our phones.
So we're.
Janie,
we apologize. We're trying to get to the bottom of some phone issues here.
You can text us.
In the meantime, just everybody hit up our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, if you're a Titans fan and you're watching all this, first off, God bless you. And secondly, you're concerned about the quarterback, right? Now, and I don't want to make too big of a deal of it because it is only 6 games and the circumstances around him are bad. But what are you feeling if you're a Titans fan right now knowing that there's all sorts of stuff wrong with your organization, and we all know that. But also the quarterback is not playing well. Like if you're a Titans fan, if you're Brinker, if you're Borgonzi, but by the way, this is their pick. Like, what are you feeling right now through 6 games watching him struggle to the point in which he struggled so far this year?
It's a good question. I think with fans, look, you have a number 1 pick. You are going to find everything positive you can, I think, for a lot of fans, and you're going to blame everybody else you can. And again, there are still people. I mean, let me read Joe from Maryland. For a number 1 pick, regardless of how bad the coaching is, should elevate the roster. There's been no evidence that Cam's better than Levis. And if we're even in the discussion about that, then they should have traded one for Hall of Picks. This could set the franchise back 5 more years. Well, that's
the fear.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. If it doesn't work out. I can't sit here and say I really don't. I don't think it's time to draw any conclusions at all. It hasn't been good. Why hasn't it been good? When other things get better, if and when other things get better, does he get better? I hear you about the elevating. I don't think there are that many. Look, Jaden Daniels, did he elevate? I would say yes. I'd say he's a special talent. They also had, they made some moves that were really good. And like that was still an overall, independent of him, much better team than say the Titans are this year. I would say the same thing about the Texans 2 years ago. The Texans still have a really good defense, right? So I hear that there aren't too many number 1 picks to me that come right in and elevate. Again, Baker Mayfield was a number 1 overall pick, right? Yeah. Kyler Murray was a number 1 overall pick. But you want to see more for sure. You definitely want to see more. And I would say it's just so early, but early on, not great, somewhat alarming. But again, it's just it's just really bad. And what you worry about when you're about ruining people, again, I'm not big on that. But if pass rush and the clock being sped up or whatever, if that's something that you have a hard time getting away from, then there's, that's the negative impact. I do think it happened to Mariota eventually.
Well, another note from Ward's day yesterday that's interesting, and Kuharski just put this out there looking at the next gen stats. So he, 26 of 38 yesterday. 9 of his 26 completions were thrown at or behind the line of scrimmage. So 9 of your 26 are just right at the line of scrimmage, which, on one hand, Joe, we were like, if you're Ward and the Titans, give him some easier access throws to get the completions up and to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and all those things. The problem is when the Titans did that yesterday, they just did absolutely nothing with it, whether it was the screen game or the quick game. There was just absolutely nothing that came from it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The screens are all getting blown up. But that stat is interesting. It's also, that's why a lot of quarterbacks have very high completion percentages, because it's true of a lot of people. So, they're trying different things, but it just, it doesn't all mesh together. And sometimes it is as simple as there's a couple. I'll be very interested to see, like Kevin Zeitler's PFF rating. I think he's been pretty freaking bad this year, and I think he was pretty freaking bad yesterday. Sometimes it's just as simple as if one guy sort of holds his block, what happens on that play, right? But again, it's still, I just feel like, and someone pointed this out, Ward isn't running, and there are times when he probably should, and it's too slow too often, I think, when he's trying to go through the progressions.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, is there's not enough about the quarterback position right now that you look at and you look like feels confident, right? It's not last year, because it's not like he's out there, say for yesterday, turning the ball over all the time and turning the ball over in spectacular fashion. So it's not the same thing as it was a year ago. However, one thing we did say, and that I don't think is that much of an expectation that's, groundbreaking, quarterback play needed to be better this year than it was a year ago. And the numbers would tell you right now that it's not, right? Like, I mean, you can look at it different ways if you want to. Yeah, Cam Ward has not gone out there and, somersaulted the football over his head or kicked the ball on the ground and rolled it like he was bowling. So it hasn't been, egregious that way. But, I mean, he threw a pretty bad pick six against the Colts. Like, some of the turnovers yesterday were bad against the Raiders. And the bottom line is, like, the offense isn't scoring points. The offense isn't scoring points. The offense isn't moving the ball. And he doesn't look good. He doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look like, in some cases, he knows what he's seeing out there. I mean, I think there's plenty of room for concern. Like, there's some conversations we're having right now, independent of the talent of the overall football team, that I did not think we'd be having 6 games in to this season.
Yeah, I think there are some similarities in how he looks and how Levis looks. Again, other than, like you said, some of those just wacky things that accelerated the whole process of, okay, Levis isn't the guy. And so if it looks kind of the same, two different players, one of them the number one overall pick, then again, you kind of look at coaching and say, why can't you guys figure out better answers for them?
Well,
so that's what's going to happen. He's the number one pick. And so the next coaching staff next year, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the entire question will be, this kid's talented. This kid has, and again, there's a lot to like about him. What can you do to give him a chance?
615-737-1025 is our phone number. More of your thoughts to get to on Cam Ward and the Titans. Titans fall 20-10 yesterday to the Raiders, and they dropped to 1-5 overall with Mike Vrabel coming to town later this week. We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
seemed like the kind of game that you called, that you guys called in the fourth quarter that got you back in Arizona. You guys didn't call until the fourth quarter when you were going to try to come back and this team.
Mm-hmm.
Talked during the week about trying to carry over that stuff, and you came out.
No.
And carrying it over was run.
Yeah, we had 2 runs to start, and then we were in a short yardage spot. We felt like we could get the short yardage. So that wasn't necessarily the plan, is run it 3 times, but you get in a short yardage situation, felt like we could convert there, and we didn't. Yeah, I mean, we called some of the same things we called against Arizona in terms of what we were trying to accomplish, but didn't get a chance to get some of those balls down the field the way we wanted to. And again, when you're down 2 scores, 3 scores at the end, they play a lot softer and they don't challenge you nearly as much. So it looks like that's always going to be the answer, but the way they play is a little bit different. So, but there's things we'll look at. I mean, obviously none of it's good enough, so we got to fix that and find a way to score some points.
I mean, Brian Callahan, you got to go out stronger than this, man. Kaharski was just like, why don't you do a 2-minute drill all game? Like he's never watched football his entire life and doesn't understand how it works. And you don't trash him for that?
He's already trashed him a couple times this year.
I mean,
that one end up back on the McAfee show.
I mean, Kaharski.
Paul Kaharski.
I mean, come on, Kaharski. That's a terrible question. And Callahan's like, well, yeah, I guess we'll go talk about it. No, I mean, he gave the answer. Like, yeah, they're not challenging you. You're down multiple scores in the fourth quarter. It's a totally different defense. You run and hurry up, and you can have easy access throws the whole time down the field. Why don't you do that the whole game? Seriously, you've been covering the NFL for freaking 40 years. I mean, there's plenty to rip on here. There's plenty to rip on. But seriously, your question is like, how come that late 2-minute drill in garbage time can't just happen the whole game?
I didn't expect Kaharski to catch some shade today.
I mean, I listened to that yesterday. I'm like, Paul, go find a slogan. Someone mentioned
Paul was very well rested last week too, so I expected a better question.
Yeah, that's right. He's rolling in here 2 hours late. That's awesome. Good job, Paul. But someone on the text line was like, maybe she go to the bathroom and 867-5309. Is that your number? By the way, text line's kicking my butt here. I'm so far behind.
Well, keep them coming. 615-737-1025. Joe's in charge.
I mean, okay, let's talk about the quarterback here. Okay. So here's a texter who says Levis at least had flashes. And see, when I see stuff like that, like it's totally fair right now, like to be concerned and not be excited about Cam Ward. But I was like, okay, so a week ago, he had 193 yards in the fourth quarter with 3 ungodly throws to win the game. That wasn't that's not a flash?
Yeah.
Tell me what Levis flashes. I mean, Levis's first game, obviously the 4 touchdown game. He had to come back Miami last year, and
he also threw a pick 6 in that game. But yeah,
he threw a pick 6 in Miami and Houston games.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like there are. Look, I would take Cam Ward right now. Right now, give me Cam Ward level. I'll take Cam Ward. Okay. Now, I don't think they should have drafted him first. I don't think he's a number 1 overall pick quarterback. So, but they did. It's not time to give up on him. But let's the revising history on Will Levis part of this, I can tell it's going to get worse, and it's really annoying.
Well, I think what you brought up at the end of last segment is exactly what I was trying to talk about 2 weeks ago. Like, there's zero evidence that this coaching staff is helping quarterbacks. None. I mean, there absolutely none evidence that this coaching staff is helping quarterbacks. And to me, look, I get it. I'm not in the building. Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi are in there every day. I would assume that A.B. Adam Strunk has asked them these questions about, like, what are you seeing from Callahan, on a day-to-day basis working with our most valuable asset as a franchise right now. I mean, I assume that. I don't know. Maybe she's out there just riding horses. I have no idea what she's doing.
Catching foxes.
Catching some foxes.
Riding horses, catches foxes.
Maybe she hasn't asked any questions until later this week. She's like, that guy used to be Paynes coming into Nissan Stadium. But
still,
like, if you're not helping the quarterback, and to me, I think when you're looking at all of this, like, the losing is one thing, but the quarterback not getting any better and maybe getting worse, is my entire point from a couple weeks. You got to move on. Like you got to get this out. Like we're reaching the point where you have to change something just to see, man. Like, and look, they're not going to do it right now, I don't think. And, we talked about the Vrabel part of this. Like, I think the Vrabel game is way too obvious at this point. Like, I doubt very seriously, even if Vrabel comes in here and just totally wipes the floor with them on Sunday, like I expect they're going to, I don't think Amy's going to give him the satisfaction of, well, he just came in, kicked our butt, and then we fired his replacement. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But be independent of all that. Like, there's now a season and 6 games worth of evidence of a guy and a staff you brought in to work with quarterbacks, and quarterback play has been the worst in the league during that stretch, and it's not showing any signs of getting any better. And that, to me, is my biggest problem with all of this.
Yeah. No, look, I guess the question is just, it's like if you fire Callahan, like what will they do different with Cam, this year? The interim coach, like it's
try it. Find out.
Yeah, they probably will. Maybe not. Maybe they just go the whole year. But it is. I mean, I think either way, it's probably a lost year, right?
Yeah.
You just don't want it to be a damaging year.
Well, and I'm not saying we're there yet. But, like, are you confident right now it won't get there to damaging year based on the way it's gone right now?
Again, if Cam is, if Cam is going to at any point be a good quarterback, you talk about these reclamation projects, then I think he'll get through this and he'll get to the next coach and, we'll see. We'll see if he's good. I mean, I just have questions if he's ever going to be good enough to be. I mean, right now it's just terrible. I'm sure he can be better than terrible. I'm sure that Cam Ward can be like a starting quarterback in the NFL for many years. I just don't know if it's better than that. Right now it's way worse than that, of course. Yeah. But this is where they are. I mean, at some point they're going to move on. It'll be, it's like I guess it's just like, what is the breaking point to do it in season? I mean, they're going to lose almost all the games from here, right?
Yeah.
So, like, does it have to be another, like embarrassing coaching moment where like the Eberflus thing where it's like, okay, that's it. Eberflus screwed up the clock. The whole nation watched. That's it, Or if it's just that they're bad, they just give them the rest of the year. I don't know. I do know that Lenny texted in, Levis won games. Cam was given a game. Dude, you guys have got to stop.
A lot of winning going on with Will Levis.
Yeah, he was out there just taking them. He took it. Cam was giving it. What Cam did last week's fourth quarter to win that game. Again, yes, absolutely. The Cardinals did insane things to make it even possible. I mean, did Levis have a fourth quarter like that?
No, he had, look, the fact that we're sitting here like debating Cam Ward and Will Levis is it's symptomatic where the Titans franchise is right now, right? Like you're talking about Cam Ward, who's been bad so far, and Will Levis, who was probably objectively the worst quarterback in the National Football League last year. So that's where we're at right now. Like
Cam Ward is not as bad as Justin Fields.
Let's try to raise the standard a little bit moving forward here would be my suggestion for everybody. Like, we don't want what we've seen from Cam Ward so far. We hope he gets better. And we also don't want Will Levis. Like that, those two things can be true. Like let's aim a little higher as a franchise here as we move forward here. But like the bottom line is the common denominator so far with both of them is this coaching staff has not helped them at all. And you can look at the roster, and I know the roster's bad. But again, as I will say for the 1,000th time, the roster is bad. The roster is not the worst roster in the history of football that doesn't belong in the same league as everybody else. That was another bad football team that they played yesterday. And you looked at it and you were like, Titans aren't winning this game. Like, it didn't take long at all to figure out the Titans weren't winning that game yesterday. And that's where they're at right now. And that's not just the roster.
Right. So it's it's interesting. There are a lot of people saying, and you know what? I get it. People saying, so then just fire him today. So fire him right now before Vrabel. You could do that.
I was kind of
you could.
Like, I was kind of joking about that yesterday, but I'm also kind of not. Like, if you want the fired coaching bump, before Bravel comes in here, there's an opportunity for you to do it today.
Bones Fossil
Bones
saving
Fossil,
the day.
Some energy created around the team heading into Bravel week.
Bones Fossil, just like John Harbaugh a few years ago, getting in a little pregame scrap with Vrabel, talking a little trash to him, getting everybody fired up. I mean, we have all week to talk about this, and we need to go right now, but what is that stadium going to look like and sound like on Sunday? My God.
It's a good question. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Lots more coming on the Titans 20-10 loss to the Raiders yesterday. We will get into Tennessee barely surviving the attack from the Hogs on Saturday and a massive move made in the college football landscape. We'll get into all that next hour as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Our phone line back up and running, 615-737-1025.
Call us back, Joni. Who was it? Joni?
Janie.
Jamie. Janie?
Janie.
Jamie's crying. Great Van Halen song about the Titans.
Lots of people crying
Yeah.
about the Tennessee
Including
Titans.
Including us.
We will have the Rob rant later this hour. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. We will get into the Vols and the Hogs and James Franklin getting canned at Penn State. We'll get into all that a little bit later this hour, and I'm sure on the college football front, lots more coming on that front tomorrow as well. But wild weekend in the world of sports. Titans lose 20-10 to the Raiders. They are 1-5, which again, same record as the Baltimore Ravens. You told me that heading into the year. Woo! How about that? 1-5 for the Titans, 1-5 for the Ravens. Cam Ward, 26 of 38, 222 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And the Titans once again finding a way to only muster up 10 points in an NFL football game. We've had the discussion at large today. What does this all mean for Ward with the coaching staff? He's not looked very good to this point. How concerned are we by that? You know, the one thing that I guess I feel good about with him right now is like, I don't think mentally or like from a confidence perspective, he's going to be crushed by this. Like, it just seems like he's got a makeup to him that I'm not going to say he's immune to all that, but like, I feel good about him working through that part of it. I mean, the thing that I'm wondering about with him as his career goes on, and this is not really all that different than what we talked about with him heading into the draft, is he ever going to get to a point where he is consistently accurate enough with the football to make the plays necessary that you have to make on a consistent down-by-down basis in the NFL? I mean, that's still where we're at with him. And so far, the answer has been overwhelmingly no. But can he get to that point is, I think, the fundamental question.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I didn't think so coming out of college. People surprise you all the time. I'll never, the whole accuracy thing, I will never look at it the same after Josh Allen, because it's just, he defied what I thought was pretty much a rule, which is basically like whatever your jump shot is when you get to a certain age, that's what your jump shot's going to be, or whatever, whatever you want to talk about it, whatever your control is as a pitcher, I mean, how much does that improve as you get into your 20s? But that and the quick decisions. And again, it's like, then factor in protection, then factor in coaching and scheme and play calling and coaches who can take a player and say, he does this well, this, not all that well. So we're going to do this and make it as good as possible around him. I don't think these coaches do that. So that can get better. But even if that gets better, is he going to be good enough? I mean, I have my doubts, but certainly you took him number 1. It's early with a terrible team. You're going to give it. You will, as a franchise, give him the time to see if he can grow into that. I love his outlook, his mindset, the way he carries himself. I love all that. I think he's tough. I think the way he got to be the number 1 pick is you love that. But it's still, this job's very, very few people can do it at a high level. Almost no one does it at a level of, being the number 1 overall pick. Who gets picked there? Like it almost never works out. But like Wesley Clarksville says, is it me or is Cam starting to get scared in the pocket, cause him to do dumb stuff because he's tired of getting hit? Yeah, I mean, I think we are seeing a little bit of some impact from, I don't know if it's scared to get hit, but just thinking he's going to get hit.
Felt like this week,
wondering if he's going to get hit.
Might have seen it the most so far this week.
I think you're right. I think happy feet or whatever you want to call it, I think may have been as a parent this. And look, he understands Max Crosby's coming. Now it's not the blind side, but he's coming over here. And, J.C. Latham's out there, for the first time in a few weeks. And so, I mean, he knows the deal. That's one thing the Raiders have. They're a bad team, but Max Crosby is an incredible player. So that's probably part of it too. But yeah, I mean, look, it's right now it's not good, and some of it is just like there is time at times. There's somewhere you can go with the ball. You got to deliver it on time, and it's not happening enough.
Well, there's one thing we've not brought up yet that I heard yesterday that, again, just makes me kind of shake my head a little bit and wonder what in the world's going on around there. Now, before we play this clip, I think sometimes, I've certainly been guilty of this. I think media at large is sometimes guilty of this. Is just dissecting every word people say and trying to find so much meaning in it. I understand Jeffrey Simmons has had as much practice as anybody in football of standing up in front of the media over the last few years and discussing a loss, right? Like he is an absolute veteran at discussing losing at this point, and he's tired of it. Everybody else is tired of it. I get it. But this is what Jeffrey Simmons had to say yesterday after the game about the Titans and the way that they practiced last week coming off the win against Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, that is disappointing. I mean, when you could – in this league, you got to learn how to stack wins, and to be able to carry that momentum over, you have to start at practice. I probably, just being honest, like this probably was one of our worst week of practice. Came out flat Thursday and things like that in that nature too. Sometimes things carry over, and when you get in this league, you have to prove it every week and reprove it. You got to go out there and keep proving yourself, your team, that you can win this league. And we didn't do that on our three phases. And today was bad football. We didn't play good today at all.
So that was Simmons yesterday. And look, good on him for saying it. Like, again, Jeffrey Simmons, as much as we've complained about Jeffrey Simmons over the last couple of years and some of the way he's done stuff, I have nothing but good things to say about Jeffrey Simmons so far this year, both from the way he's played and the way that he has addressed the media, accountability, all these things. So continued high marks for Jeffrey Simmons so far this year. But it did remind me, Joe, of last year. Like, so Simmons is saying there, this is one of the worst weeks of practice that they've had. They came out flat on Thursday. And I immediately thought back to last year, late in the year. They go on the road. They get a win at Houston. They come out, I think, the next week and just get their doors blown off by the Washington Commanders. And one of the things he talked about was
a cold day.
Yeah, like Jarvis Brownlee made sure to point out, hey, nobody else could say this, but it's freaking cold out there, man. We didn't want to tackle nobody. But Jeffrey Simmons, after that game, talked about how basically they were hungover from success after the one win they got on the road against Houston. And it just makes you, like, going back to the coaching conversation, it makes you think, like, what happens around here? The week after they win games. And look, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I can only go on what Jeffrey Simmons is saying. Like, he's talking about how it's one of the worst weeks of practices they've had. They came out flat after one win against the Arizona Cardinals. Last year, they won for the first time in forever against the Houston Texans on the road. And the next week, he's talking about how they were hungover from success. And again, I'm not blaming Simmons, but it just makes you wonder organizationally, what in the world's going on around there? You guys can't handle like the smallest amount of success like a professional the next week?
It's amazing. And it's like, you have those terrible performances where it's like, well, it was a great week of practice. Like, okay, well, super. I think they should just ban talking about what practice was like. Don't tell us what practice was like.
Ban practice in general.
Well,
just don't even practice anymore at this point.
Maybe.
One could argue they may not be already.
That maybe they should try it, It's like just meditate all week and then go play.
I mean, didn't the Titans do that? Not to bring up Vrabel, but like, through all the COVID stuff, like they just couldn't practice and they showed up on that Tuesday and was like, I guess we're playing. And they look great.
It's beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice overrated.
Yeah, maybe. It is. It just speaks to lack of leadership at the top, and lack of leadership in the locker room. Again, I think Jeff can be a part of a leadership. I think he fills a role. He's a great player. This year, he is a great football player right now. I wasn't sure he'd get back to that. Obviously, what he did in the offseason, exactly what he should have done. But they don't have the leadership. I mean, like Cam Ward could be a guy like that, but he's a rookie. He's a struggling rookie.
Yeah, he's a rookie not
so
playing
they don't have the leadership in the locker room. They don't have enough good players to have enough good leaders in the locker room. They don't have leadership from the top. The coaching staff from Brian Callahan down there, and obviously can't hold people accountable or get the best out of people. It's pretty simple at this point. Alex, interesting point here. I just want to throw in. He said, I know it's college football, but UCLA should be an example that all the example you need of how a coaching change can actually change the way a team plays. That is a fair point. Now, they fired their the head coach. They fired their OC. They bring in Neuheisel's kid. And he's out there with his long floor. Like, hey guys, I got some awesome plays for you. And he's, they're just. So I don't know if there's like anything like anyone like that on this Titans coaching staff. Like, I have no idea. I don't think like Nick Holtz is going to come in and just be like, boom, now the new sheriff's in town, and all of a sudden start throwing the ball over the field. But that is a good point. I mean, sometimes you get a bump. Maybe at some point, try to see if you can get a bump.
Nick Holtz. Forgot he's on the team.
He
wasn't calling plays before. Still don't. It's fine. Still not. It's
Cool
fine.
with that. I'm
It's all
cool
good.
with that.
It's all good. It's all good.
We're good, guys. We're good.
More coming up with the Titans 20-10 loss to the Raiders. Coming up next, take your thoughts, 615-737-1025. Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action. Got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. From queso to kickoffs, this is how Macero does game night. Macero, football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. DVD with Willie Donick, Derek Mason, and Adam Vingan will be broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall today prior to the Monday Night Football games. Monday night matchups are the Bills taking on the Falcons and the Bears and the Commanders. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe doesn't seem to be a huge fan of that Monday night slate there.
Those are two okay games. If you could combine them, you'd have a great game. Worthy of Monday Night Football.
It's true. Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line. Welcome in Lance to the program. Lance, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. The Titans are so bad. When they drafted Cam, they made a mistake. I agree with Joe. They should have taken the picks because this team is so bad. There's not a team a quarterback in the NFL can win 5 games with this team. You could take Mahomes and put him on this team. You could take Allen, put him on this team. But they're not going to win. They can't win. They don't have the talent. So blaming Cam for everything and saying he's not a success. I mean, Troy Aikman, they won 1 game the first year he was there, but then they built a team around him. He won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, it's just totally asinine crazy to pile on him. They need to fire that weak coach that they got, get somebody in there that is run the roster in and out, picking up people and try to build a team. But good Lord, blaming everything on Cam and flushing Cam is idiotic. And comparing him to Levis, I mean, I was kind of a Levis fan too, but at the same time, he didn't have a chance anyway. I mean, none of them have a chance back there, not even the most seasoned quarterback.
Thank you, Lance.
I'll hang up and listen.
Appreciate the call. Good self catch there by Lance too.
Did Lance almost say a bad
I
word?
felt like he was about to go off with Kelly, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Whenever you're not sure, Lance, just say that mother farting Callahan. I tell you what, that's all you got to do.
You still make me so nervous every time you do that.
See, it works every time. Hubert Davis, thank you for helping us navigate.
You talk about what, college basketball coming up. That's probably the only thing in college basketball I'm going to pay attention to the first couple months.
I heard some smack talk about Hubert Davis. Somebody
Yeah.
was talking smack about Hubert Davis, a player. I can't remember who, but I saw it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Watch out.
So I don't like how they treated somebody. I can't remember exactly what it was or who it was, but
Well, at least even if he treated them poorly, the language was clean.
That's right. Yes. Fart, filth, flarn, filth. Lenny says, so to the caller, I kind of agree, but it's like, again, it gets into like, okay, so we can't judge quarterback at all then? We just can't. I mean, I agree that they don't have much of a chance. It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible for these quarterbacks. Are there quarterbacks that you could put into the Tennessee Titans right now who would do better than Cam Ward? I believe so. Would they do great? Would they win football games more than they lose football games? Probably not. I mean,
this is, again, a conversation.
It's always hard, It's like, okay, but Patrick Mahomes, put him in here.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, who torched the Lions last night, by the way. He's played with terrible offensive line, playing with mediocre receivers, and is still won. But they've also been a good football team with tremendous coaching and offensive scheme and design and a good defense. Lenny says, would you say Jackson Dart is better than Cam? If not, explain why Dart has better stats and ratings and also more wins. I don't know. But I can tell you that I'd love to have Cam Scattaboo in my backfield. I'd love to have the pass rush the Giants have. They are not the total cheeks, buns team that the Titans are. But Jackson Dart has been better than Cam Ward.
To answer the question, yes. Right now, Jackson Dart is better than Cam Ward. But long term, what is it going to look like? That's the real question.
And I have no idea. I don't know. It's just so hard. We see careers that look so good early and flame out. We see careers that look terrible and people give up on guys. They go somewhere else. They do great. It's just, it's hard. It's really hard to even project from college to the pros. Obviously, everybody out here making millions, trying to do it, and they fail way more than they succeed. And then you still have to try to guess what's going to happen once you get in the NFL. And the twists and turns happen all the time where it's like, oh, hey, actually, that guy's pretty good. I didn't realize that.
And again, like we've talked about this before, but everybody wants to put all the blame on one area and then absolve other parts of it from blame. when the real answer is probably this. Like here's basically how I feel about it right now. The Titans roster is bad. It's not good. The Titans coaching staff, I believe, is bad and is not good and is going to get fired at some point here. And also, Cam Ward is playing bad right now. And some of that has to do with the coaching and some of that has to do with the roster. But some of it also doesn't. Like some of it is Cam Ward by himself is not playing good football right now. And I think all of those things are true. And I know we just want to blame it all on the coach or we want to blame it all on the general manager. And we've gone through different stages here where we've done both of those things, where, as a fan base looking back over the last few years. But the bottom line right now is I think all those things are true. I think the roster's bad. We knew the roster was bad heading in this year. I think the coaching staff is bad. I think that's proven out so far this year that they're not good. Like it's not a good coaching staff and they're not going to be here. And independent of both of those things, like Cam Ward is not playing good football right now. All of those things are true. And all of those things are why they are where they are right now.
And welcoming back to town, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. Welcome back, Mike.
No, I think that I couldn't agree more. Everything you said, it's bad. It's bad leadership from the top. And it's a weird dynamic in the front office. Yeah. And there's just no way when you lose like this, like it just like it gets to the point where everybody's looking to cover their own butt. Yeah. And this, it's really his fault. It's not my fault. It's his fault. And then you have a coaching staff that just is not up to this. They just are not up to. And I think that, I think that you start with Brian Callahan and the coordinator hires. Yeah. We've talked about it, but you really go back. You can't hire your buddy who's never been an OC and a guy who's never been a DC as your coordinator. No. You can't do it. And I think Rand Carthon deserves some blame in some of this too. But again, you can give blame to a whole bunch of different people. It's bad from the top. And it's just permeated the whole thing.
Well, and again, we could, this going back years, like it's bad ownership, like it's everything. And this is, I guess if you're a Titans fan, what you're scared to death of right now. And we talked about this heading into the draft. Like, the New York Jets are a perfect example. The Cleveland Browns are a perfect example. Sometimes bad organizations and the way that they run their operation just ruins things. Like, to me, it's not a coincidence that Sam Darnold gets drafted by the Jets and leaves the Jets and is good. Like, it's not a coincidence that, look, even Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback in Green Bay forever. He gets the Jets, and yeah, he got hurt the first year, but the second year he didn't look like he had a clue what he was doing out there. And all of a sudden he's got Pittsburgh 4-1.
He looks all right
this year.
Again.
Like, sometimes it's your organization.
Yeah.
And
this is one of those organizations now.
This is one of those organizations. And that's what we talked about with the draft. It's like, Cam Ward, independent of where he gets drafted, has plenty of question marks. Like, he's not a clean prospect. And one of the things we talked about, though, was, and then you factor in not being a clean prospect. There's some people who don't think he's going to be very good in the NFL. I mean, look, there's some people, Louis Riddick talking about Patrick Mahomes, like what he's going to be. So, like, there are some people that believe he's got an immense amount of talent. But, one of the things we said was he's also coming here. And how big of a deal is that? And so far, coming here has not worked out very well for Cam Ward. It's very early. I get it.
Yeah.
But, man.
Yeah,
you are the Jets and the Browns right now.
Yeah, you are. You are the Jets, Browns. I mean, again, like the Giants are like, that's the comparison because obviously you have the rookie quarterback who's playing better than your rookie quarterback. But like the Giants, long term, I think they've, with the Mara family, they've been run pretty well. The Jets, the Browns. I mean, that's the Lions have been there. They've again, the Lions would be a source of hope, but also like they had an ownership change within the family. Yeah, with someone who seems to have a clue, and ownership that doesn't have a clue is typically a big part of this. And right now, I think that absolutely describes the Tennessee Titans. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us at 8:00. We will get back into the Titans and the Rob rant coming up at 7:45 because I got some things to say about some of the things I saw yesterday. Coming up next, we'll get into Tennessee surviving against Bobby Petrino and the Hogs
and a massive move made in college football this weekend. We'll get Joe's thoughts on all that as well. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We'll have the Rob rant coming up here in just a few minutes. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Joe, Tennessee survives against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Bobby Petrino comes into Neyland, has that offense humming. Taylon Green for Arkansas throws for 256. He also ran for 63. Tennessee's defense gave up 240 yards rushing to Arkansas on Saturday, which is not good. Now, I will say, I wear my emotions on my sleeve watching Tennessee football, and it usually comes out on Twitter. So every time I started tweeting about the defense, they immediately the next play forced turnovers. So that was interesting. That was fun on Saturday. And to their credit, they have been very good at forcing game-changing turnovers all year to this point, right? I mean, they scored 2 touchdowns in the Mississippi State game. They had a touchdown against Syracuse. Their defense is good at forcing turnovers. It's lacking in a lot of other areas at the moment. But at the end of the day, they win. They get the W, 34-31 against Arkansas. They're 5-1. They moved up to number 11 in the AP poll, and they got a trip to Alabama coming up this Saturday, which we will have plenty of time to discuss. By the way, what a big weekend around here of football. I mean, yeah, the Titans play, but Vrabel's at least coming to town. Vanderbilt's got LSU, and they're a 2.5-point favorite at home against LSU.
That's surprising
today. Tennessee heading on the road to Alabama. So a very fun weekend of football coming up around here. But what did you make of Tennessee getting by and surviving against Petrino and the Hogs on Saturday?
Yeah, disappointing defensive effort, no doubt. Apparently the fire Tim Banks chants were going. Is Brandon, are you going to switch from Glenn Ellerby to Tim Banks? Let us know on the YouTube chat. And it's disappointing. It is disappointing that I do think that Taylon Green is such a problem, running the football especially. But, I mean, just overall, he's a problem. I think that puts you in a bind sometimes defensively. And so some of the straight-ahead run stuff maybe worked better than it would. Like this week, can Tennessee not, can they – I think they've got the personnel and not let Alabama just run all over them. We'll find out. That was disappointing. The defense is a big play. It's like a feast or famine defense, right? Big plays, turnovers, sacks, but they are not sound enough. They are not consistently sound enough. I thought with those D linemen getting back, we'd see more of that. So disappointing. The offense is really good, and looking at this week, I think it's a have to outscore them, get them into a game like that, and try to outscore them in that game, and a game kind of like the game from a few years ago that they won. Or even, last year, what was the final score last year? I guess it wasn't a high-scoring game. That's right. The first half, there was no offense
nobody
at
could
all.
complete a pass.
Yeah, it kind of got going in the second half. I think Tennessee needs to get well into the 30s to beat Alabama, and I think their offense is good enough to do that. Alabama's defense is good. It's not special. It's not an Alabama defense.
Well, 3 injury scares for Tennessee on Saturday. You had Bishop go down, and it looked like he was in some serious pain, and then he got up, walked off, and it sounds like he's going to be okay. Braylon Staley goes down in the fourth quarter. He had 6 catches for 109 yards in the game. Heupel said after the game that he was in the locker room celebrating, and he's going to be fine. So Staley looks like he's okay. And then Aguilar went down on a long run in the game. I think it was a 28-yard run. He landed on the football, knocked the wind out of him, and it looked like for a second I was like, God, did he just break his collarbone? Like, what's going on?
Oh boy,
out there. But he apparently is fine as well. So 3 kind of injury scares for Tennessee that looks like they've dodged a bullet from on Saturday.
Yeah, which is huge. Yeah, the Aguilar thing for a few minutes, yep. Pay more attention to the Titans. I don't know. What do you do? What do you do with your hands?
By the way, only 1 catch for 5 yards for Brazel on Saturday. They had a play early in the game where they had him open down the sideline. It looked like the ball got lost in the sun. And then a back shoulder play in the end zone that he just didn't catch. But not much from Brazel going on, and he'll
be fine.
Played well offensively. So Tennessee survives. We'll have more on the Tennessee front as the week goes on as they take on Alabama. James Franklin, they've lost 3 in a row, and it is amazing. Like, I was thinking about this, 2 weeks ago, 16, 17 days ago, they were in a game against Oregon at home in overtime with a chance to win. And you end up losing that game in overtime. You get your doors blown off, at least defensively, by UCLA the next week, and then you lose to Northwestern. And all of a sudden, James Franklin is fired and is out as head coach at Penn State. Your thoughts on that move that Penn State just made this weekend?
I mean, I did not think it would happen like this. It's in a way, it's years in the making, right? Because it's like, okay, got us to a certain point. Can he get us over them? But you gave him a 10-year freaking deal in 2021. The buyout is $45 million plus. And so this is the second biggest buyout ever. Jimbo will it'd be hard to beat with that 77 mil from Texas A&M, but 45 million, just we got to do it. Saturday night, Mitch Lightmatter's like, hey, any interest in a column in James Franklin? So I wrote, he's not coming back from this. However it ends, it's like it's over. You knew it was over, but not like you're fired the next day over. I did not think that was going to happen. But you know what? That's all these other fans of other teams are like, oh, Florida fans like, oh, so see, they actually are serious about football. Penn State is. So it's stunning. I think there's a lot of programs that will and should come after James Franklin. Like, a lot of places should be like 8-9 wins every year, good recruiting. UAB. Sure. There you go. They fired Trent Dilfer. They did. Tyler Bray out at Oregon State too, by the way. And there's a lot more to come. But of course, all the talk now is, can they get Cignetti? Cignetti, who's Hoosiers. Both of us were wrong, and I was stunned watching this game. They went in there and physically kicked the crap out of the Oregon Ducks, and I'm like, dude, Curt Cignetti's like, I mean, he's the best coach in America. Is he not? Like, Kirby Smart's won national titles. But, like, who is better than Curt Cignetti as a college football coach?
Looks pretty good right now, man.
Freaking crazy. So now, and he's a Yinzer. He's from Pittsburgh, and so Penn State is going to throw everything at Cignetti. And it's amazing to say this, but I don't think he's leaving Indiana for Penn State. I don't. Like, think about that. Now I'm good. I mean, in today's world, which I think it makes college football even more interesting, it's like, do you have people who are giving you money? Do you have facilities you need? Are you rolling right now at your place? Why? Yeah, Penn State has wideouts and 105,000 people at games.
Yep.
Okay. What else? What else is better about it? The history's better.
The history. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, right now you'd kick the crap out of that team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. They're going to go try to get him, and if not, they'll probably settle for Matt Rule. I mean, seriously, they'll probably hire Matt Rule.
Yep. We will probably get into this later in the week, but I do want to get your thoughts. I'm watching the Tennessee-Arkansas game, which, by the way, was just horrifically officiated. And you had Heupel talking about it after
some
the game.
Good SEC officiating over the weekend.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Like, I thought that was bad. And it's not just the penalty discrepancy, because sometimes there are games where there should be a discrepancy in penalties. But I just thought it was brutal in the Tennessee-Arkansas game. And then you watch the Auburn-Georgia game, and you're like, oh, so it can get worse. Like, it was awful in the Auburn-Georgia game. Horrific.
There's probably a rant to come on this at some point this week. The Kirby Smart calling a timeout and then trying to tell everybody, no,
that's clapping.
I mean, the entire world can see what you were doing, man. Like, everybody saw what you did. Like, we saw you did the timeout signal,
except apparently the officials.
Yeah, but I either have lost like the use of my eyes, basically, and Sean McDonough, the rules analyst, but anybody watched it was like, yeah, he was over the line touchdown before it was a touchdown. And I got people trying, well, no, actually there was an earlier poke that loose. No, what are people looking at? How did they screw this up? And of course the SEC, they're not gonna let us listen to their conversation like the ACC does. It's embarrassing. I mean, look, I hate to have Hugh Freeze be a sympathetic figure because he was like crying at halftime. And it's like, well, now your team's screwed. And it's exactly what happened. They just completely just turtled and didn't even play the rest of the game. And they got their butts beat. But it should have been 17-0.
Yeah.
It's how that replay didn't see. All you need is like an inch of the ball touching the goal line. It was like a third of the ball was over. Then it got punched out. I don't understand how this could be so incompetent.
Well, the Rob Rant coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
To me, this is the dumbest possible outcome.
Why don't you do a 2-minute drill all game?
No, I ain't think they.
Oh, I need sources to tell that?
This dude is an idiot.
Hey, guys, I got some awesome plays for you. And
I think I sound as regular to where I'm from.
have you watched the Titans play football last couple years, Robby?
This is all bullcrap, is what this is.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. We're vibing, Robby.
It is time for the Rob Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Joe, I got a feeling this may be a common theme the rest of the year, and maybe I'm just a hater. We'll see. J.C. Latham, I thought was awful yesterday. And look, I guess there's some grace. You're coming back from injury. Who knows if he's fully healthy? And he's going up against Max Crosby. So I understand all of those things. But as I will repeatedly say, you drafted him number 7 overall to be an elite tackle in this league. And he looked anything but yesterday. And he's not alone. He was not solely responsible for the 6 sacks and 8 quarterback hits that the Titans surrendered yesterday. But he wasn't good. It was not very good against Max Crosby. I expected him to put up a better fight. And frankly, I've got a little bit of a problem with the Titans fans and the Titans media that have just anointed this guy already and just assumed that he's going to be really, really good. I guess because he was taken 7th overall. What have we seen so far from J.C. Latham at the NFL level that makes you believe that he's going to end up being really good? I understand that this year has basically been lost to this point from him, right? He played 2.5 quarters against Denver, and he's been dealing with an injury ever since then. So as the season goes on, we'll see if it gets a whole lot better. And believe me, I hope that it does, because by God, I don't want to be talking again about drafting a left tackle and a right tackle here over the next couple of years when draft talk comes around. But I think there's just been way too much for me. This assumption is they got J.C. Latham out there. It's okay, well, what has that meant to this point in his career? I thought he had a not very good rookie season. He was okay as a rookie at left tackle. But as we've discussed a million times, Joe, it got to the point where they decided he couldn't play left tackle anymore and wanted to move him to the right side. And then yesterday, albeit it's a very short sample size, it's against an elite pass rusher in Max Crosby. I understand those things. But he's awful. He was awful yesterday. And the standard for him has to be really high. I've said it. If he's not at the end of this season, if you don't look at him and think that he's going to end up being a great player for you at the right tackle, that's a huge problem. He's 7th overall, and he's shown no signs of that to this point. So, look, I'm not trying to single J.C. Latham out for why they lost yesterday, because it's certainly not on him, right? It's not, if J.C. Latham would have played better, they'd have won the game. There's a lot of problems that they have. But at some point, I need to see something from J.C. Latham that suggests to me that he might have a chance at being an elite player, which is what he should be when you draft him where you drafted him for the Tennessee Titans. And yesterday, injury or not, you lose the injury excuse with me when you're healthy enough to get out there and play. He played. It was awful, and it's got to get better.
Yeah, it's bad. And this is one of those, I guess J-Rob could, put on another thing on Instagram no, not my fault, guys. I mean, this is not a J-Rob thing, right? This is on the current or whoever, I don't know. I can't remember even who made what picks in what years. But this is a number 7. It's not good. The fact that you had to switch him, not good. I think the bigger, there is a bigger story there of, one, it's obviously personnel evaluation, but it's also Joey Garrison took a moment from covering the White House yesterday. Our pal Joey Garrison.
Shout out Joey Garrison.
Shout out Joey Garrison.
Fellow Franklin High School alum.
There we go.
Sweet.
My former Tennessean coworker. Love that dude. And he is a diehard Titans and Preds and Vandy fan.
It sure is.
And he tweeted at me, are we sure that Bill Callahan isn't a bad offensive line coach? And I was like, decades of evidence would say he has been great. But look, you know what? Sometimes people lose their fastball. Sometimes people, I don't know. At some point, you want Bill Callahan judging players, helping to pick players, which they 100% lean on him, and they should. And then developing players, working with players, putting them together, putting the whole picture together. You want it to, at some point, not be embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Why did he look so bad on the right? He looked terrible yesterday. Worse than almost any game last year.
Look,
Crosby is part of it for sure.
Crosby's
right?
part of it. And look, he's coming off a hip injury. I
Maybe
get
it's
that.
just rust.
Maybe it's rust. But it was bad. It was bad from J.C. Latham. And again, it would be one thing if it was bad yesterday, he was coming off the injury, and there was a season's worth of work last year that was really, really good. But there's not. He was, I don't know, Joe, you tell me if I'm being too harsh. I thought last year as a rookie, he was okay at best, albeit with a situation around him that was awful. It's okay? So the hope was, well, have Skoronski get better this year, bring in the Mandor at left tackle, where it's better than having Nicholas Petit Frere out there at some point. And on the whole, the offensive line will be better and Latham will look great. We'll see if that happens at some point this year. But I mean, again, he looked bad yesterday. Looked totally overwhelmed.
No, he did. There was one play where they helped a lot. And again, most teams help against Max Crosby. He's a monster. But they had a play where Chig is supposed to be helping him, and Chig basically slingshotted him around the outside. It's like if you're gonna have Chig help, he can't get to Chig's right. He has to keep him inside. But that's so sometimes the scheme was flawed. They also then, the interior guys. I'd be interested to see the PFF grades. The interior guys, Zeitler and Cushenberry let a guy through, and it's you guys are blocking one guy between you.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely barreled between him and got.
Devin White may have set an NFL record for how quick he got in the backfield yesterday.
Yeah.
On the fumble.
Yeah. So, but it is bad. And I think to you mentioned Titans media and stuff. I do think that there's a thing with Latham. Latham is an extremely likable, smart, he's awesome. And you're there's no way that guy's not going to be good. Because that guy, he gets it, So I think there is some of that. It influences how people look at players sometimes. So I think, that alone, just the fact that he's picked 7th and there's other bad things here. You're okay, he'll be okay. He'll end up, and Skoronski has finally gotten to the point of being pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, it's also 11, 7 isn't pretty good. You
have to be great players.
And it's so far from that right now.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the 20-10 loss for the Titans to drop to 1-5. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby, Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. Titans lose 20-10 to the Las Vegas Raiders. They fall to 1-5 on the season. And to help us talk more about that, we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Corey Curtis from News 2, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic, who joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Corey, how we doing? What's going on?
I am a delight. How are you today?
I also delight.
Super.
Doing very well this morning. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. Corey, it kind of feels like Groundhog Day, but I guess I'll approach it this way. We all know that the roster's not good. We all know that the coaching staff is not good and that they're going to get fired at some point here.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's struggling. I'm sure some of it has to do with the roster. Some of it probably has to do with the coaching. But some of it also doesn't, right? Like some of it is Cam Ward struggling independent of all the other factors. So when you watch him, I guess, what are you seeing right now and how concerned are you by the way he has played through 6 games, save for a quarter and a few throws here and there?
Well, I think, number one, the world needs to embrace that that's okay to say. Because there seems to be a segment of people out there who you can't say, Cam Ward needs to play better too, because then you're saying he stinks and you're a hater, and that's not it at all. It's just saying, they drafted him number 1 for a reason, and that was to be a dominant football player. And they need some mistakes to not repeat. Turning the ball over at halftime was bad. I mean, they kicked you're in field goal range. Okay. There's 2 things you can't do there: take a sack and get knocked out of field goal range, or turn the football over. He did one of those 2 things. Okay. It can't happen. He knows that, but he did that. And so that's what makes that bad. And then, yes, fumbling on the 1 is bad. He was in a horrible situation with Devin White coming in free. But again, you put the ball on the deck, you cost your team 7 points. So there's 10 points in a game you lost by 10 points. And that is certainly not putting the loss solely on him. There is plenty of blame, to go around. But, we talked about building off the fourth quarter last week. And for whatever reason, especially with the tight ends, we thought the tight ends were going to be a part of it. And I don't know if that's on Cam Ward. I don't know if it's on the coaches. Tight ends had 3 catches at halftime, and 2 of them were Chigakonko at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Okay. Get these guys the ball 5, 6, 7, 8 yards downfield over the middle, let them turn, catch it, and go upfield. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. And again, I'm not solely blaming him. It could be very well be on the coaches as well. But, whether it's holding the ball or not finding the open guy, there are certainly things he can do better.
Yeah. So you mentioned the coach there. Let me just isolate it with those 2 things. Understanding bad offensive line, as always. We're just used to bad offensive line play on the Tennessee Titans. But if you right now had to pick one or the other, either, the coaches are they're giving him enough opportunities and he's just flat out not seeing things, not delivering the ball accurately, or the coaches are not doing enough to give him the answers. Which one are you picking?
It's a good question, and I wish I was smart enough to know exactly.
You have to answer, Corey. You have to answer.
And I'm going to try to answer it this way. I'm not sure how much the coaches trust him at this point. I had them at 6 flanker slip screens, whatever you want to call them, yesterday. 6. And I know Callie doesn't call those screens, but anytime you throw the ball at the line of scrimmage with at least 1 blocker in front of the person, I call that a screen. And they had at least 6 of them yesterday.
Didn't work.
That's a lot. They had 10 yards total on those 6. But that's saying we want to give him this. This is where the ball's going to go. We want to give him an easy completion. And yeah, you want to give those guys a chance to make a play, but I'd also like to give them a chance to make a play 5, 6, 7, 8 yards down the field. And that is not working. I mean, they had 1 work last week with Chig, but I mean, that's one. That's one. And the only one that moderately worked yesterday was a 3rd and 25 to Chim that went for 8. The other 5 went for 2. And so, and then, they rightfully took the ball out of his hands on 3rd and long in the second half. What was it, 17-0? And they could kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to take another sack or an interception and lose the 3 points and make it a 2-point game. I know some people were upset about that. I'm like, I absolutely would have done the same thing that they did and gotten my 3 points. So I think there's some lack of trust there. And again, I would have to know the play design better. So these guys who watch the All-22 could tell me better if there's just no choices over the middle, whether in play design or in being open. And, there's a difference between being open and, being a little open, and the throw can throw them open a little bit better. There's some to that. But, I'd need to see more of that. But I think at 4-19, it's hard to say the coaching staff has all the answers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And to that point, so Jeffrey Simmons after the game yesterday started talking about how they had one of their worst weeks of practice, and Thursday they came out flat. And it made me think back to last year, Corey, I think after the Houston game where they came out and got their butts kicked the next week, and he started talking about, I kind of felt like they were hungover from success. And, maybe that's not all a coaching staff thing, but it does kind of make me wonder a little, like, what goes on around there after a win? Like, where you can't approach the next week with some professionalism and with some urgency because you got one win in an NFL season.
You would think it would reinvigorate you.
You would think.
You would double down, and be excited to come back to work the next week. I know, when I have like a good show or whatever, I'm excited to come back to work and go do the next one. I mean, usually when I have a bad one, that's when I don't want to come back. So, and yes, I mean, I think overall, whether it's coaches or players, that always points to a leadership issue. And, it's an after the fact thing. It's like when the Colts said, oh, they weren't ready to play. We could see it in their eyes. When teams play poorly, there are a lot of after the fact statements. So, maybe they had a bad practice. I don't know. If they did, then they got the wrong players. Okay. If you can't show up to practice ready to go because you won a football game against a horrendous team, then you don't have much hope.
So I want to, I know we have you on Mondays, Corey. So usually we're more like looking back, but I do have to ask you what you think it's going to look and sound like Sunday at Nissan Stadium when Michael Vrabel and the New England Patriots march in there. What is this going to be like?
Well, I mean, I think there'll be a mixture. I mean, number one, I think there'll be a lot of Patriots fans there. They're 4-2 and probably headed to the playoffs. And they're probably going to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Will there be more Patriots? I mean, that's a good point. Will there be more Patriots fans and Titans fans in the stadium?
Yes, there will. Yes, there will.
Well, at least that'll drown out the boos that would be going to Brian Callahan.
That's true.
Because they'll just be cheering Mike Vrabel. So
win. Look, I think there will be an appreciation for Vrabel for what he did winning here. And I think what Callahan has gone through kind of erases some of the memory of how bad the last 24 were of the Vrabel era. And again, a lot of the same bad roster issues, not quite the same. He did have Derrick Henry, who was a pretty good player. Who, by the way, the Ravens, don't think they need to give him to the ball at the 1, evidently.
Yeah, apparently that's an interesting strategy.
I don't know what the heck is going on there with that. I don't know what the numbers are now because the numbers weren't good yesterday for this, but Pollard had more carries than Henry, a lot more. And that's malpractice. That's malpractice. But yeah, so I think, whenever people come back, unless they leave a villain, like Ryan Suter got booed for years. If Vrabel had quit to go to New England, I think then the boos would be vociferous, but he got fired. So I think there'll be more of an appreciation for what he did when he did win. But we'll see. I mean, none of it matters. They're a bad football team. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and to that point, Corey, like it's you're 1-5. You got to win against Arizona, and they had to make some plays in order to do it.
Yep.
But I mean, again, you look back at it, and I don't know that we'll ever see Arizona hand a football game away like that again in our lifetime, right? Like it's just that's how incredible it was when it happened. And I guess the most discouraging part, aside from the Cam Ward stuff and the offense and all that, is you looked at the game Sunday in Las Vegas, and you looked at the rest of the schedule, and you're like, man, I don't know how many more opportunities there are to win. And you come out and you show up and you play like that yesterday. Like that's just – it makes you wonder how many wins are left on this thing moving forward.
Well, I mean, it's a competitive issue. I mean, when you look at the Saints and the Jets, who are both awful, but look at their scores. They're competitive. They're at least – I mean, for as god-awful as the Jets were yesterday, they scored 11 points, which was one more than the Titans. I mean, they had negative yards passing, and they scored more points than the Titans yesterday.
Yeah.
Let that register. And by the way, I'm not going to sit here and listen to how good the Raiders were yesterday from the national media and how the Raiders got things figured out. They rushed for 3.3 yards a carry.
They're a bad team.
Right? They rushed for like 68 yards in the game. All right. I know at halftime they had less yards than the Titans. The Titans handed them a touchdown. There wasn't a whole lot else there. They weren't great. They were just less bad than the Titans were yesterday. And the reason they're 2-4 is they've been less bad or been more bad than everybody else they've played, because Geno Smith has 10 turnovers and could have had 11 yesterday, or if the Titans could ever get that call on hitting the quarterback for a fumble and touchdown.
Yeah, it's just amazing the way that it continues to play out for them. Corey, good stuff as always. We appreciate you taking time to be with us, and I am very interested this time a week from now what you're going to be talking about in the aftermath of the Titans taking on Mike Vrabel.
Oh, yeah, let's not go. Hey, well, I'm guessing you guys have tossed around the James Franklin thing today.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Franklin of the Titans?
I really cried myself to sleep over that one. But, I don't know if this name has come up for that job, but if it was Penn State, I think it'd be the first call I would make. I would call Nick Saban.
Yeah. I mean, make him say no.
Yeah.
Make him say no.
I would come to him. I mean, what does Franklin make? Like $8-9 million a year?
8.5. Yep.
8.5. Yeah. Call him up. It's off from 12.
Yeah. I think Saban's done, but
I agree.
Sure.
Just make him say it. Worst thing say is no.
With the roster that's there, he's competitive immediately for a championship.
Did you see their schedule next year too? It's brutal.
No.
Like it's
Penn
just,
State's is?
I mean, it's like you should be
Penn
able to
State.
walk in and win 12 games. Like
Oh,
that's how
yeah.
bad it is.
Akron, Kent State.
Yeah, like it's horrific.
Yeah, James really loaded up with those tough non-conference games.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, really prepared. Couldn't
I just want
got him prepared for
how big was
Northwestern.
that blow up after that Northwestern loss for them to say, "Here's $49 million, go away."
Yeah, we'll see you. I mean, the American dream, really, for James Franklin. Paid $49 million to not work. It's awesome.
It's like you just bought a scratch and win ticket.
It is.
He and Jimbo.
$49 million.
He and Jimbo would be like the end of Trading Places on the beach.
Except Jimbo's got a ring. James just has a resume full of blank check marks.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Corey, thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
All right, later, guys.
Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock here on the program. We'll react to what Corey had to say. Titans lose 20-10. Not a good performance from Cam Ward. We'll get into all that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Appreciate Corey Curtis from being with us in the last segment. Titans lose 20-10 yesterday against the Raiders, and they dropped to 1-5 on the season. Joe Cam Ward, 26 of 38, 222 through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Turned the ball over 3 times, a couple of fumbles in the game, including one where the ball just fell out of his hands because he's trying to throw the ball.
Yeah, that was a toughie. Patted it, knocked it out.
It was a tough one. Fitting way to end the game, though, for the Tennessee Titans that timeout. But if you were wondering, after the Arizona game, if that was going to spark something with the offense, spark something with Cam Ward, spark something with the team, the answer is no on all 3 of those fronts. It did not spark anything. They came back and looked basically how they've looked for the entire Brian Callahan tenure, which is completely and totally hopeless out there playing football. 4-19 for Callahan. Cam Ward, not good yesterday. He was sacked 6 times. Raiders had 8 quarterback hits, did not get good protection, and also just made some bad decisions with the football, inaccurate at times with the football. So what did you make of Ward yesterday? And how do you, in the aftermath of the Arizona fourth quarter, how do you read just the total reverting back to ineptitude offensively for the Titans and the aftermath of that?
As you were speaking, right behind you on the TV on ESPN, it had it's Believe It or Not, Titans mishandling Cam Ward. And Rex Ryan said, believe it. And then he was yelling some stuff. So now there's a different Nolensvillian who thinks that feet should be covered by shoes. I will say that, it's bad. It's bad. And like add on the text line, patience. Most young QBs go through this at 6 games and evaluate at the end of the year. And even then, it's too early to tell what he will be. I don't disagree with any of that. They
don't go through this. Like I'll pull up the numbers for you. And this is, again, I can't base everything off the numbers. But if I could find Cam Ward's Pro Football Reference page.
But I'll quickly, and again, I know it's like, okay, you can find an example for everything, but like Peyton Manning's numbers as a rookie were horrific, right?
Yes.
Now that's 1998, and it's almost hard to even compare the era. But yeah, I mean, they don't all go through this. Of course not. Some of them come in and win right away, like C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels just did.
I mean, through 17 on a 17-game pace right now for Cam Ward, he's on pace for 55% completion percentage, 3,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, man. Like it's awful. So
yeah, and
they don't go through all this.
Right. They don't all, do some and then come through it. Yeah, and if Cam Ward is like, I'm just not really a believer. Like a lot of people, I know you're not someone who believes. It's like Stilly believes like the Titans ruined Marcus Mariota. I don't buy that.
No,
I do think that he saw ghosts more as he got hurt and all that stuff, but Marcus Mariota wasn't good enough. He's a good backup quarterback. He's a fringe starter in the NFL. If you make me guess right now, long-term what Cam Ward is, it's probably going to be something like that. But I don't know that. I mean, I have no idea. If you come in here and you give him protection, and you give him a young stud receiver, better weapons, and a coach who knows what he's doing, could Cam Ward be a good quarterback in the NFL? Sure. He could be. I don't. But right now, it's all bad. And he's part of the bad. I don't know what percentage of the bad he is, but he's a not insignificant chunk of the bad.
Well,
right now that's going on.
Totally. And as I said earlier in the show, let me make it clear. I am well aware that the roster around him is awful. Okay. I think the coaching staff that he is working with right now is awful. Like those two things to me, you can't shake those things when you're talking about this conversation. So by no means am I giving up on Cam Ward. By no means have I lost hope that he can one day be a good NFL quarterback and that he could be the franchise quarterback of the future for the Titans. I'm not giving up on that. I will say, though, independent of the bad roster and the bad coaching staff, he's not playing good football right now, and some of that has nothing to do with the coaching staff and the roster. Some of that is on him, okay? And again, I don't know the exact percentage. I'm with you there. But right now, they are a bad roster that is poorly coached with a quarterback that is not playing anywhere near where they need him to play. And all three of those things are true. That's why they're 1-5, and it took almost a hand-wrapped gift from God to get them the one win that they got against Arizona, right? Like, that's why they are where they are.
And again, thanks with those gifts, and one of them was, Cam got hit through an interception and fumbled into the end zone. Then they jumped on it. He did throw for 193 yards in the fourth quarter with some throws that were like, oh my goodness. So he has flash. There is talent. But yeah, look, it's not good enough, and he's not good enough right now. He's struggling. He's struggling to me to see things quickly enough. He's struggling too often when there is a throw to be made to miss it. Now, again, sometimes he'll hit one, and you're like, man, look at the zip on that ball and the placement. But you got to be able to hammer the strike zone. Whatever analogy you want to use, consistently. Don't see that right now. As far like again, the ruin him thing, like if you get him hurt and he plays differently because of that, okay, then I think that's a thing. I mean, Robert's like the Titans absolutely ruined. Now they did. Marcus Mariota could have gone good anywhere. Marcus Mariota came in here in his second year. He had a great offensive line. He had two great running backs. He didn't have great receivers, but he had a solid defense. They won. He had good numbers. That was his peak. I mean, that was his peak. They didn't ruin him. He proved to be not good enough. And by the way, most quarterbacks do.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in Gil to the program. Gil, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Doing good, man.
Good.
I'm out here early. It's early out here. I'm stressed out, man. My Titans ain't looking too good. But what I would like to say is I'm just upset with Callahan and everything that he said that he would do prior to the season. And he hasn't, I don't see anything that he said that he was going to do. And it just looks like our whole team is confused. And I can blame Cam Ward, but when I see our offensive linemen and all the things that we put into our offensive line and everybody's looking lost, that's just a direct shot at him for not building an identity. And I've seen this before with Ken Wisenhunt. And what happened was when Malarkey came in, he just made us a smash-mouth football team, and either we were going to win or we were going to lose that way. And I would like to ask Callahan, what do you lean back on your offense when things are going bad? What is the identity? And I don't think he has one. I don't see any receivers, just wide open to where I can say, well, Cam Ward, you have to make that throw. Everything just seems so hard. I mean, they came out with 3 runs in a row. And then after that, they come out with a spread offense. And even I know, and I'm not that much of a genius, now you're going to the quick offense, and they were blitzing our screens. It's like we can't trick anybody. And when Jeffrey Simmons was talking about, I think he was more talking about the offense didn't have a good practice because the defense came out ready to play. But when you on the field the whole game, I mean, eventually you're going to break down.
Thank you, Gil. Appreciate it. I mean, a lot of fair points he brings up there. A couple on the coaching staff specifically that I want to get to coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
The fourth quarter was so encouraging last week. You guys talked about potential to carry over some of that stuff. Obviously, the slow start, and then you didn't do that. You got any ideas as to why you were unable, not just you, but the whole team, unable to find that stuff and carry it over?
I just think it's just all of us not going at it every play. Whether it's myself on one play, it's a turnover, or we have a missed route or a missed block on somewhere, whether it's receiver or O-line, just always one person not doing their job in that specific play. And that's something that we emphasize. And at the end of the day, like, there's no excuses out there for us. We just got to be better. I have to be better. And every time you score 10 points, you're not winning a football game. So offensively, we just got to help the defense. They've done their part the whole season. We just got to start doing ours.
That's Cam Ward after the game yesterday. Titans fall to 1-5 after the 20-10 loss to Las Vegas. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025. On the coaching staff front, I mean, look, like I said, bad roster. I think a bad staff. Cam Ward not playing good football right now. None of those things are arguable. It's not going well for the Titans. I do look at the staff right now and Callahan leading the way and think to yourself, okay, you have him taking the job, and a big part of why he took the job was coming in trying to work with Will Levis, so we know it didn't work. And then you take a quarterback number 1 overall with a guy who is supposed to be really good at developing and working with quarterbacks. And right now, I mean, I don't think there's any other way around it. The Titans, when you combine last year and the start to this year, have had far and away the worst quarterback play in the league. Like, it's pretty bad. Like, between what we've seen from Levis, Rudolph, and Ward thrown in there together under Brian Callahan, which is why he's 4-19 as a head coach. So, like, again, I want to be clear. Like, I'm not blaming this all on Cam Ward. He's not playing well. I don't think he's absent from blame either. That's the entire point. But Callahan and this offensive staff, you said it, Joe. Go back and look at that press conference yesterday. He is totally defeated. Like, he is, I'm not going to say he's checked out, but he's totally resigned to the fact that this is coming to an end. Like, this is coming to an end one way or the other pretty soon. And now here you are with a coach and a staff that clearly is not putting the quarterback in the best possible position to succeed here. And we're seeing just horrific offensive performances because of it.
I realize that Titans fans aren't huge fans of Brian Callahan right now, and I understand why. I did see some people saying he threw Cam under the bus after the game yesterday, which is overstating it by quite a bit. However, I did detect, probably for the first time, a little bit of blaming him, a little bit of frustration with Cam after the game from Brian Callahan, which I get. Like, when you fumble, yeah, I know you got sacked, but you can't fumble inside your own 5 and just give a free touchdown. The last one, the game didn't matter, but, like, how do you fumble that?
Yeah, I know.
And the pick was, he was hit on the pick, he was hit on the play, and that happens. I put that more on protection, but also get the ball out faster. So, I think even from Brian Callahan's perspective, he's getting a little frustrated. Again, I don't think this coaching staff is giving him answers. I don't think that they have them. Or they certainly, if they have them, I'm sure they can all sit here and look at this play should have worked. They can, go iPad to iPad and look amazing, but they can't figure out a way to deliver the answers,
right?
Or to give him a chance to do it on the field. So I still think it starts there. But yeah, you also can't sugarcoat that Cam's not playing well. He's not getting better right now. Here is Brian from yesterday.
Do you feel like for Cam's sake, it's probably time to start getting some more momentum, some confidence? What do you feel like he's at right now?
Yeah, I'm incredibly discouraged by the outcome. I mean, we felt good coming into the game, and to not be able to perform well on offense and not be able to score any points and lose a game is disappointing. And we all got to be better. Cam's a part of that too. Cam's got to play better football as well, and we got to coach better. We got to play better. All those things. It's not all just him, but he is a part of it. And we'd like to be able to start seeing some more good football being played, and we got to do a better job.
Yeah, by the way, that is not a coach throwing a quarterback under the bus.
No.
I think anybody with a pair of eyeballs can see that Cam Ward's got to play better than he has to this point.
Yes, look, there's a segment of fans, like they were there all the way to the end of the Marcus, maybe still talking about Levis. Any remotely critical word about their quarterback who has to work out is an affront to the quarterback. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with what he said there. Also, tremendous little nod to the Vrabster as he comes in. I don't think he's ever said it word for word like that before. That is an absolute Vrabel tribute, and I appreciate it.
We got to coach better.
Vrabel week.
We got to play better.
Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful job, Callie.
Very good stuff.
Yeah. Now, he didn't throw him under the bus, but he is frustrated, I think, clearly. And again, he should be, other than his own culpability in the whole problem.
Well, yeah. And, I guess if you're a Titans fan, that's what you're worried about right now. I mean, look, the season's shot from the standpoint of doing anything remotely competitive, right? Like, we all understand that. And
they were fighting with the Jets for the number one pick.
And there was no real hope for that heading into the year. Like, barring Cam Ward being Jaden Daniels from last year, we knew it was probably going to be a struggle from a wins-loss perspective. Too often they've not been competitive. Too often the offenses look totally inept. And we brought what the stat TD had. This is the fewest amount of points they've scored through their first 6 games since 1985. I think it's 83 is what they've scored.
And they were absolute buns in 1985.
So nobody expected that, right? Like show some progress offensively. We've talked a ton about the offensive line, and I just guess that's never going to get better around here. The quarterback play has not been good. The receivers, look, they got a bad receiving core when Ridley's healthy, and then you lose him in the game yesterday to the hamstring, and you're looking around out there, and it's like, well, they have nothing. They don't have anything.
Van Jefferson, Jonathan Vilma thinks he's an all-pro in the wings.
Loved him some Van Jefferson out there, but we all know that the roster has limitations. But man, like, it's just so bad, and to have that type of performance after you felt like maybe you found something the week before in the fourth quarter, to come back and just immediately look like you don't have the first clue as to what's going on out there offensively, that's the most discouraging part. And look, if you were trying to be an optimistic Titans fan, you were probably talking yourself into last week I know that it was a special set of circumstances, but you still had to go take it if you were the Titans there in the fourth quarter. And now it's just looking more and more like the Arizona Cardinals just completely collapsed, and there's no real progress that you've made offensively here. Certainly not linear progress.
Yeah, no. And that's also not normal. It's not supposed to be. Ups and downs are expected. Yeah, they gave it to you, but he also he took some good short stuff, and then he made some ridiculously good throws in that. It is also still a kind of a team on its heels, right? Like trying to hold a lead, and sometimes that plays into a quarterback's favor too. Regardless, it's a very disappointing follow-up because even though it's not supposed to be linear, when you play the Raiders, you hope you can do a little better than this.
Yeah.
You have one guy that you worry about, and the Titans let him do plenty of damage in the game, but still, like, you hope that you can do better. And like the whole thing with Simmons and like they practice poorly, like all commentary on how they practice is just, it's always worthless, really. Like in football, it's just like, there's all these, we had a bad week of practice, but boy, what a huge winner. Boy, we had a great week of practice. I don't know what happened. Whatever you do on Sunday is what you do on Sunday. That's all that matters. But it's still like, if that's true, like if they lacked energy and you have the Colts talking about them lacking energy, there's still also this whole just inability from the top to get this team to play at a level as bad as the personnel is. They're playing below that level. That's obviously on the coaches.
615-737-1025, our phone number. One more segment coming up on the Titans' loss to the Raiders. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in. Final segment of the day. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 the game. Titans lose 20-10. They dropped to 1-5 on the season. Calvin Ridley, a hamstring injury yesterday, so we'll see how problematic that's going to be for the Titans as they move forward here. Hey, Joe, it sets up a very interesting week here, which we're going to have a lot of time to discuss, but you're 1-5. It's, frankly, from a wins-loss perspective, right where I had them heading into this game. I'm feeling good about it. 1-5 heading into the game, and you got the Vrabster coming to town next week, which, by the way, they're 4-2. And not only are they 4-2, but Drake May looks really, really good.
Yep.
Like, he looks very good. So, again, we'll have all week to dive into the matchup part of it. But, you know, one of those games heading into the year that you wondered where both teams would be heading into it. And the fact of the matter is, Brian Callahan's 4-19 as Titans coach, and Vrabel's already 4-2 with the Patriots. So, not great from the optics standpoint heading into this one. And I think the expectation is for the Patriots to come in here and just mop the floor with the Titans. We'll see if the Titans have any sort of fight left in them heading into this game, what that looks like, and if they can make this a game coming up on Sunday. But there's going to be a whole lot of discussion about Vrabel and the Patriots and the overall direction of the Titans this week. Prepare yourselves.
Yes. And participate. And apologies to all you in the text. I had really good texts that they were too fast for me, and I didn't get to them. If Mike Vrabel wins, and probably when Mike Vrabel wins Sunday, he will have the same number of wins at Nissan Stadium in the past 2 seasons that Brian Callahan has had.
It's depressing.
That's
tough to think about.
There's a little stat for you.
But hey, the Titans did beat the Patriots last year, baby. So maybe they match up well. We'll see.
That is true. That is true. Drake May actually played pretty well in that game too.
Yeah,
as I recall, he made some big plays.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really interesting. I feel like it's gonna be kind of a Patriots home game and kind of the Titans fans who show up. I don't even know. Like, is there appreciation for Vrabel?
I think you'll see some. I mean, look, I think some Titans fans probably boo him. Like, right? I think, look, we're going to probably at some point this week hear from a lot of Titans fans who get sick and tired of the Vrabel love that's out there from a national perspective. Like, he's done a really good job so far in New England, and he is like he's the golden boy of the league right now, coming in and doing what he's done. And we're going to hear, I think, a lot from some Titans fans this week. Like, do you remember how bad it was the last year and a half, 2 years that he was here? So that's fine. Like, we're willing to have that conversation, but yeah, I think
it wasn't this bad. I'll tell you that much.
Just I said at the time, wouldn't have fired him. I'm not going to sit back here and relitigate that now, but boy, have things worked out so poorly since they did.
Yeah, and look, think about it from a quarterback perspective. Of course, Vrabel's a defensive guy. That's not what he does. He has to hire people to do that. And I think he made some bad hires here. He's got Josh McDaniels, who, again, atrocious head coach. Some people are like this.
Yeah.
Obviously knows what he's doing with QBs and with designing offense. I mean, it's not Tom Brady. He's got a very talented guy, but they look pretty good. You go back to Will Levis, that last year with Vrabel. It wasn't great, but it was encouraging. There was some good things, and there weren't all the ridiculous mistakes. I mean, is there something to that?
I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise at this point. Like, quarterback play has regressed around here since you got the supposed quarterback guru. I mean, that's all I know. And there's probably 50 million reasons for it, but that's all I know. Quarterback play has gotten a whole lot worse around here since they hired the quarterback guru.
Yeah, exactly. It simply has. Like Will Levis, there was enough of a sample size as a rookie where it was like, okay, he has a chance. Like Will Levis, in the amount of games he played as a rookie, and yes, it was a better team. He had like Derrick Henry behind him, right? But that's better than what we've seen from Cam Ward this year, right?
Yes.
Now then it went the other way, but I'm just saying. Skyler says Titans fans are going to cheer for Vrabel, holding signs say, "Vrabel, take us with you." You don't want to go up there.
I'm really interested to see what the crowd looks like because, look, there are some diehard Titans fans that, God bless them, they're there every game, and they've been there through this whole time, and they're going to be there again on Sunday, rooting on their team and hoping they get to see their team win and their quarterback snap out of it, start to play well, and all those things. I do think from the just completely diehard Titans fan perspective, who, when the team is competitive, at least are willing to spend money and spend a Sunday out there. I think you're losing those people rapidly. Like, I think just like why would I go do that to myself and pay all this money to watch this team play football? I mean, you saw it early in the year. I mean, it was the number 1 overall pick making his home debut, and the stands up in the upper deck were half empty. Like, you're losing those people right now.
And Pats fans gaga about Vrabel and Drake May are going to scoop up tickets at a pretty low price.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's going to be probably a pretty ugly scene. Do the Titans – is there anybody on the Titans in this team that, like – because this is a classic NFL – you see this in the NFL and in college football too. Like, the coach comes back, the quarterback comes back, and it's like, we're going to get him. We're going to beat him.
Do you have any fight in you?
Yeah. Is there anybody who – and I don't expect Brian Callahan to make that the point of this week, but still, like, if you believe in your coach at all, you want to tell people, shut up, man. Like, we're going to show Vrabel. We're going to beat Vrabel. Does anybody have that?
Well, like, the bottom line is
Jeff Simmons, he loves Vrabel. He wants to beat him.
And whether it's Vrabel or not, the bottom line is everybody around the league thinks you're going to get absolutely destroyed on Sunday. So do you have any sort of pride in you? Like, do you have any sort of pride left in you if you're this football team? Can your coach bring any of that out at any point? I mean, you would think the circumstances would set themselves up for that this week, but
Probably not.
We'll find out.
Yeah, this happens in the NFL. I have my doubts. I have my serious doubts that it's going to happen at all on Sunday. I think it's going to be ugly.
By the way, Patriots 6.5-point favorite on the road.
Hammer that right now. Hammer that right now.
That does it for us today. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.